pre-Oscar favorites just before the Oscar awards on Cindy. And guess what, people? I went to a movie yesterday that I think should win the Oscar for Best Picture. It was The Fighter. The Fighter. And I'll tell you why I think it should win. Because it is so American and yet done so well. It's American because it's about a big family of fighting Irish back in the town and in the East Coast where the Irish congregated. And it's about a family that the mother is the manager of the boxer's son, and the older brother who's sort of got into drug trouble. But he was a contender, and he's the trainer of the younger brother, who's played by Wahlberg. And Mark, I believe his name is. Christian Bale is the older brother. And the mom, oh my God, that mom, she is so good. She should win the Oscar too for Best Supporting Actress. If she doesn't, it'll be a shame. But anyway, she's got 9 kids, and they're brawlers. And they just fight at the drop of a hat. Naturally, because she's got 2 fighter sons, what else? So, and the dad, you know, he drinks a little too much. I mean, he's boozy, you know. He's got a redder face than... And so, this is so... this is so American. And anyway...
Say, baby, I'll tell you something right now. When you're at the Oscars, you don't want to be recognized immediately, you know. That's why I got the shades on, you know, and the hat, you know.
He's not typically American. No, he considers himself much superior to the...
That's right.
You know, this Irish family, he would not be able to...
indoor plumbing when I was growing up.
You know, I'm not going to show him this movie because he couldn't stand that bunch. But they remind me of my family. That's why I loved it. I loved it. I mean, me and my sisters, we get in a fight with the drop of a hat. We can get up, we can scream and holler all day long.
I've heard about your family for 5 years. I don't need to watch this movie.
I know. My dad and mother, they just brawled all the time. Well, this picture was so good at playing.
You don't think anybody's going to recognize it?
No. No. I'm going to bring him the King's Speech because he'll watch that. He considers himself royalty.
What?
Royalty. He's American royalty. That's why they love these movies about English royalty. Hollywood loves them. Jesus loves them. But that should not win because The Fighter is American. And the acting is fantastic. Mark Wahlberg, he didn't get nominated, because why? Because he's just kind of a blank face while his family's fighting around him, punching, and while his older brother is pulling faces, and is he ever a slickster? Trying to...
Slickster?
He is slick, this guy. Well, he's on crack. And,
I don't consider that to be slick
No, but he... Christian Bale... So this movie has got so much to recommend it, and it's just beautiful. So that is my vote for first place in the Oscar picture.
My next question is, what's this got to do with people who are overweight?
Oh, we're not even on that.
Oh.
There wasn't a movie about obesity this year. They should get to that again soon. But I want to talk about some of the other. Winter's Bone that we saw. And he hated it. He hated it because it was another American. It was in Missouri, where he's from. Southern Missouri. And he had to admit it was pretty authentic. And I love this movie because.
Why do you think I moved away from there for crying out loud? Then I moved to what?
Yeah.
Arizona.
Yeah.
How cool
Yeah,
is
he's
that?
St. Louis elite.
I should go back
He's
to
not
San
one of
Diego
those
on the
hillbillies
lawn.
out there in the
Go back to La Jolla. I
in the
actually
rough
appreciate it.
in those shacks having meth labs. That's what it was about. Oh boy, were those people scary. But they had to look, you know, Hollywood doesn't usually go to the trouble to have the whole terrain look authentic. And the shacks and the houses and whatever they're doing. But Winter's Bone does
Yeah,
that.
they probably do.
And that's
it on
what I loved about
location.
Winter's Bone. You know, you just felt like you were right there in those towns. In fact, they were a little bit worse than those towns. I hope Southern Missouri doesn't have that bad
It does.
people.
Yeah.
Well,
East
poor-
Southern, West Southern, all around it. You know the high.
don't you hate him?
Do you know?
He's
Do you know what the biggest cash crop in the state of Missouri is? Take a guess. Cash crop. Go ahead.
Marijuana. Oh boy, well, you'd believe it from seeing that movie of trying to find the drug he died and save the house from foreclosure and you know, all these people out there struggling with foreclosures, they're gonna like this. They're gonna like this movie too. So Winter's Bone, but it's not as good. It's not as The Fighter, and of course Black Swan Ballet. That's not going to win.
By the way, I want to thank you.
Oh, and Social Network, for God's sakes, please Hollywood, don't vote Social Network the best picture. I'm on Facebook. I like it.
I'm not
But
voting
it's
for
all
it.
those
I
dumb
know.
little games they have. Facebook does a lot of stuff that's like, you people are all stupid out there. We're going to have to think for you. We're going to have to create little games for you. And they have this status thing where you cut and paste this on your status because you people out there can't possibly think of anything beyond just maybe a line or two. And we'll think it for you. And then you just cut and paste it some way or another. And I say, oh, what? You know, the best thing I like about Facebook is when all my Facebook friends have got a blizzard, the worst blizzard in 100 years to contend with, and then they take pictures and they tell about how awful it was. And oh, I'm just right there. I love Facebook because if somebody's having a disaster, a flood or whatever, everybody can kind of rally around and try to help them through it.
No, that's not the way I
But
look.
Social Network is all about the billionaire, the young billionaire that created it, and oh, Hollywood loves that too, I guess. Golden Globes gave it the best picture. I thought it was a good picture, interesting, but it didn't have the story about people struggling. It had billionaires struggling, or potential billionaires, and
Boy,
you can call
that gives me
that
the tug, you know, boy, I really. Hey, you know, Donald Trump's got a cold. Oh, I really feel sorry for that. My God, can I send him $5?
Yeah, well, apparently the one that created
Bloomberg.
Facebook.
Let's make him mayor of New York. The poor
the other
billionaire's got
people-
nothing else to do.
Thought he stole his ideas, and then his partner, he thought he got cheated, and you know, it's about a lawsuit going in there and everybody trying to get their share of the great Facebook phenomenon. And
Sounds like Arizona
it
Public
was
to me.
interesting behind the scenes of young billionaires, which, no, I guess people think, but that's not, you know, we're all not going to be young billionaires, that's for sure, or even old ones. So I don't know. Social Network, good movie, but not anywhere near Oscar material. And now that gets me to True Grit.
Oh, jeez. Here we go.
True Grit is a Western movie. And I've got so many complaints about Western movies because on Western movies, see, I was raised in the West and in very rugged cattle country, and my ancestors were cowboys. So whenever they try to, they make a movie, you know, Hollywood goes out there in a big flat country and where it's easy to film, and makes a movie that it's just never hardly authentic. Like my people.
Are you making derogatory comments about John
Wayne? John Wayne. Yeah, he used to go in Monument Valley, make them. You know, they'd be out there, a big old flat where nobody would ever go because there was no water.
True Grit?
No water. Yeah, True Grit was originally John Wayne. Then Jack Bridges has taken a turn at him, and the Coen brothers have taken a swing at this movie. And, you know, they still went out and found some flat country where it would be easy to film. Hey, the country that I was raised in where they run cattle was the most rugged cattle country, and it's right there in southern Utah. It's western. It's rugged. And you got to go up canyons and down, just like my dad, you know, and you run your cattle on places like in Stud Horse Peaks and Wild Horse Mesa and Rattlesnake Bench, and, you know, and you got to go up real dangerous trails to get to these places.
Remember that one time? That one time you told me they burnt scrotum.
And when you go out to drive cattle, your dad is telling you, don't lose those cattle. And, you know, Hollywood just doesn't understand all the ins and outs of cattle punching. And so they always get it wrong. They leave some big herd of cattle, they're driving, and they go have their drama, and the cattle is probably spread. They have scattered to hell and gone. They've lost them, and they don't even know it. You know, they come back and start driving the cattle again. I say, hey, watch your cattle, watch your cattle. They're going to scatter on you while you're over there having your drama. And, you know,
let me ask you a question. Did you see that movie where Mongo comes up and cold cocks a horse and the horse?
Yeah. Oh, that's been done.
That's a classic.
I know men that hit their horses, but they didn't perform right. My dad wasn't that mean, but he was awful mean. And, you know, this old cow puncher, you know, Hollywood tries to make movies about something they don't know anything about, and they don't even try to know anything about it. They think, oh, what's so hard about that? We'll just go out here and film. You know, that's the way they've always done westerns. And as a result, these westerns don't have the feel. They're not. That's what's wrong with True Grit. It was good in a lot of different places, but it just didn't ring true. Like that girl, that 12-year-old girl, they had her doing stuff that, boy, when I was 12 years old, in the first place, the country is primitive. You spend all your time trying to survive with no running water, no electricity, and the horse age.
And you didn't have any indoor plumbing either,
oh, no. And he knows it. He knows I've got a phobia about food spoiling because you didn't have any electricity. You couldn't keep anything in fridges. What do you think happens out there on the range when people got to go out there, cook their meals over campfires, and in those days ride their horses for miles and miles and miles? They didn't have pickup trucks. They didn't have four-wheel drive.
Well, that's about time they got some pickup trucks.
I lived through the horse age clear up into the modern age, which is still pretty. You don't change the canyons. The canyons are still deep. The trails are still steep. And a lot of modern cattle ranchers don't even do that anymore. They'd say, oh, that's too hard. We can't do that. But that country is waiting there for a film, a movie that actually tells how rugged cattle punching, cattle ranching is. Because you can't make a Western movie about cattle ranchers and Western characters without showing how hard it is. How you've got to have authentic feel to it, and this movie's never had it. True Grit didn't have it. It doesn't deserve the Oscar. It won't get it. So, okay, people, that's my vote. The Fighter.
Was that it?
Yeah.
Now can we talk about something realistic?
No, that's it.